morning, everyone. Welcome to the February Power Breakfast. Thank you for coming this morning. We have a great treat for you. Today we're focusing on marketing and public relations. With a lot of community events coming, this is a great opportunity for you to take advantage of the publicity that's being done to attract visitors here and what you can do to capture that market. So today we have a professional certified marketing director, Mr. A.B. Barrera. He is a co-CEO of PMDG Marketing in Laredo. Mr. Barrera has been righting the wrongs of retail and marketing for over 15 years. He has an award-winning marketing and public relations firm, and he's going to share some valuable insights on topics today about marketing and shopping behaviors in public relations. He also speaks a lot to groups and will be speaking to us today about tourism, how to attract tourists to these small markets, and how to maximize your marketing efforts. So please join me in welcoming Mr. A.B. Barrera, who will be speaking to us. Now, the reason you're here today is to learn about how these type of events and the Power Breakfast is about sharing information, as you know. So this is an opportunity for you to learn how to maximize your sales for your business. The other topics that we'll discuss are how to effectively market a business in a cost-effective manner, because budgets are important and something that we all have to deal with, especially if we don't have a large budget. The other thing is this presentation is designed to guide you in learning how to partner and cross-promote your business and what you can do with other partners in the hospitality industry. So I hope you enjoy the Power Breakfast this morning, and join me in welcoming Mr. A.B. Barrera.
Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Good, good. Somewhat interactive. I'll try to be as casual as possible. I've got a short presentation, and then I'll definitely open it up for any questions. And if in between presentation you all have questions, by all means, please just raise your hand and let me know. But what can you do to attract more tourists to Zapata County? Obviously, it's a question that a lot of people ask themselves on a regular basis, right? Particularly in small markets. What is it that we're doing right? What is it that we're doing wrong? And these are some of the different things that we're going to cover. Number one is how to cost effectively market your business to visitors. How many of you are small business owners here? We've got a few. And I'm sure you have a huge marketing budget, right? So we're going to teach you how to cost effectively market your business to visitors. Secondly is how to drive sales and traffic through specific tourist-driven promotions. And how do you develop these promotions? Who helps you come up with these ideas? And how do you partner with different groups within the hospitality industry to be able to maximize all these people that are coming to Zapata? And of course, here it is how do you partner with your visitor industry? And so we're going to cover these 3 points today. And like I said, throughout the presentation, if you guys have questions, by all means, please go ahead and ask. So who are tourists? Tourists typically are visitors that travel 50 miles or more to another market for business, pleasure, or recreation. So can we, is it safe to say that we definitely are a haven for tourists? We get a good amount of people, right, that come here for business, for pleasure, for recreation. Tourists are an integral part of small markets that offer specific, unique, or out-of-the-ordinary landmarks, buildings, and recreational opportunities. It's probably safe to say that Zapata probably offers all of that, correct? And I wanted to compare a couple of different small markets and some of the different things they've done to capitalize on tourism, and they've done it extremely well. And I'm going to show you a picture here, and how many of you know what that is and where that is? That's Marfa, yes. Marfa is in West Texas, Presidio County. It is approximately the population in this desert town. It is about 1,981 approximately as of the last census. And amazingly enough, in this town in the middle of the desert, they have a Prada store. And Prada is a very famous European designer. And in the middle of nowhere, they built this store. And I think they were thinking big picture. They were thinking, you know, we definitely want to be a town that attracts tourism. And tourism, it has attracted by the hundreds and by the thousands. Now they've put themselves on the map. The number one reason that people are going to Marfa is not because of the product store. The number one reason people are going to Marfa is because of their architecture. And over the last so many years, a number of different artists started relocating to Marfa because it was just a cool thing to do. And all of a sudden we have this architect that said, I'm going to build a really unique building for a Prada store in the middle of nowhere. And Prada said, we'll make a statement. And now, of course, it's created major headlines. They've gotten just a plethora of free publicity by opening up the doors to the store. It's a very profitable store. These people are going. There's not much to do in Marfa. On the way up here this morning, I was talking to Rochelle, who's joining me, and she said, what else do you do in Marfa? And I said, well, as long as they have, good music, good food, good art, so maybe spend a day or two there. And there's not a whole lot you can do, but it's still driving tourists by the droves. And let's think about other markets that are small, very similar to Marfa. Let's think about Green, Texas, which again has put itself on the map because of Green Hall. And that's really what they've capitalized on. And everything was built around Green Hall. Now, it wasn't necessarily done by the town or the city or the county or the state. It was really a collaboration between local business owners that saw an opportunity to say, how can we capitalize on making this a tourist destination? And they did. How many of you have been to Green? Good amount. And if you drive around the area, you go to Green Hall, what do you see next to it? You see restaurants, you see convenience stores, you see shops, you see candy stores, ice cream parlors, a lot of impulse type items, right, that the tourist is probably going to buy. What do we do when we're on vacation and we're walking down the road and we see an ice cream cone that's $15? We're probably going to buy it, right, because you're on vacation. It's something that we do as tourists. And again, tourists can even be a business traveler. If we have somebody that's coming in here on business and they see an opportunity, maybe they see something that they haven't seen, something, again, like we mentioned before, out of the ordinary, something specific, something unique. I was talking to some visitors from Monterrey, Mexico yesterday, and they were telling me how they're taking advantage of this flight that's now being offered directly from Monterrey to Laredo. And they said, it's great for business because it gives us the opportunity to fly in, cost effectively, plus my business is paying for it. And while I'm here, I do business in the morning. They already have a plan. They have a decent dinner, but then the last thing that they do is they shop. And they shop for items, again, specific items that are not necessarily available in their area. So that's one thing to look at. So Marfa obviously is one of them. Green is another one. One of the other markets, obviously, they've got something that not all of us have, but they've definitely capitalized on it. Of course, it's South Padre Island. They've got the island. But again, they've got their peak season and they've got their off season, just like you do here in Zapata. And so they've learned to capitalize not only during the peak season, but figure out what they need to do to continue to attract business and visitors throughout the entire year. And you may be surprised, but their peak season is really during the summertime. They attract a lot of families. You would think that it'd be spring break because they're one of the most visited destinations in terms of spring break, but that would be their second highest peak season. And so realistically, they have to find other ways to capitalize on it. In October, for example, they do a huge sandcastle building competition at the beach. So although the weather is not probably perfect to go to the beach, they're capitalizing on the fact that, we can drive people to our market that's still going to spend money at our stores, at our restaurants, at our convenience stores, at our gas stations, so on and so forth. So obviously offering something specific and unique, which you definitely have here in Zapata. So let's talk about Zapata just quickly, and this is a lot of information you probably already know, so I'm going to go through it fairly quickly, but population is 14,000 plus, and that was as of 2010. You have a very young median age. Median age is only 28. Very similar to your surrounding areas. Laredo's median age is about 28, and then McAllen, the Rio Grande Valley's median age is also about 28. You have a very common similarity there. There is an opportunity to attract over 330,000 visitors, though, from surrounding areas in the Rio Grande Valley, Laredo, Corpus, and San Antonio. Now, mind you, they're not going to come here very often, but they're going to come here, and there's more than enough. And there's a number of different things that can attract them to come, and we'll talk about that here in just a few moments. Laredo and McAllen are also within a 60-mile radius, so again, that gives you a lot more opportunity. In terms of business, obviously, you probably see a lot of people that come in and out from the Laredo area already. So let's talk about your current trends. Retail sales continue to increase, which is always a good thing, considering the economy. If you've got any type of increase in this day and age, you're doing something right. Obviously, $200 million plus in sales annually, and retail trade accounts for 27.8% of your total retail sales. So for those of you that said you had a small business, obviously this is a very important percentage here. 27.8% people are spending money on retail. And it can be anything from restaurants to any type of store, gas, convenience stores, things of that nature. Now, we know that third quarter is historically the lowest in retail sales activity in Zapata County. So what do? Do we advertise more during that quarter? Do we promote more during that quarter? Probably not. The key would be to emphasize on your first and second quarter and maximize that opportunity. Think about what retailers do on a national level. Let's think some big retailers. Can somebody give me the name of one big retailer that we all know? Just shout it out. Okay, Walmart, for example. So Walmart doesn't advertise year-round consistently. To a certain extent, they do, right? But during really busy retail periods, for example, during the holidays, during Easter, during Valentine's Day, during Halloween, they're going to add an added emphasis on their advertising plan because they want to maximize the opportunity. People are going to spend money regardless. It's Halloween. People are going to go out and buy candy, right? So what do? You advertise more and remind them that if you're going to buy candy, you come over to Walmart because we probably have low prices, right? They've already branded that consistently very well. And so that's what we want to do. We want to maximize. We know third quarter is historically low, so forget about it. It's going to be low. That's what we've seen. That's a trend we've seen for the last so many years. So let's concentrate on maximizing the times of the year when things are fairly good, and let's improve them so that they can be even better. You think about flower shops, because Valentine's Day is right around the corner. You talk to any florist, they will tell you that that is the one time of the year that makes or breaks them. At the end of the day, if they don't do well for Valentine's Day, they might as well close shop. That's really what they depend on every year, just like many retailers in shopping centers, big box retailers, like the Walmarts, for example, they depend on holidays. Well, flower shops depend on Valentine's Day, so you really have to look at certain times of the year. So let's talk about tourism in Zapata. Total direct travel spending in Zapata, and this is as of 2011, was $15.6 million. And that's a big number. Wouldn't you like to have a little percentage of that for your small shop? $15.6 million. Travel spending supported 186 jobs with earnings of $2.7 million and generated roughly $730,000 in state and local taxes. So obviously we see that this industry is doing a lot for this county. And hotel revenues and occupancy both increased by 6% over 2010. So we definitely are seeing that it's there, but there's more opportunity for even more. We see some leakage into other markets. We definitely feel that we can capitalize on a lot more, but perhaps we're not capturing all of those visitors the way we should. There may be a lot of people that still don't know about Zapata, and here's an opportunity for us to kind of shout it out and let them know who they're all about. So who is your tourist visitor? Anybody?
Hunters.
Absolutely, okay. Fishermen? Any sort of recreational visitor? Anybody else?
Birders.
Absolutely. Winter Texans, absolutely. So a lot of them are already out here. Business travelers is one that we didn't mention, but that's on a regular basis. And although you may not think so, but today we traveled, and we'll be spending money in your county. We'll probably stop and have lunch somewhere. We'll probably gas up. We'll probably stop at a convenience store, maybe pick up 1 or 2 bottles of water. So if you put all that together, those business travelers are coming here on a consistent basis. Winter Texans, somebody said Winter Texans, obviously huge in this market. And again, even though they're here for a longer period of time than some of your other visitors, they're still our tourists. So what are we doing to capitalize on that market? We'll talk about that. And then, of course, recreational travelers. We talked about hunting. We talked about fishing. Huge in this market, and really something we definitely need to capitalize on. And of course, seasonal travelers, and this is very consistent with recreational travelers. You know, some of these people are only going to come during certain times of the year. We'll talk about seasonality here in a few moments, but you know, we're going to have people that are going to come here just during the summer months or just during the spring months. And so seasonal travelers are important. And then day trippers. Does anybody know what a day tripper is? Yeah, just you know, come and go. So you'll get a lot of people, for example, from Barrera that may come maybe just to fish. You know, maybe come and visit family members. And we're going to talk about how to also attract the guests of the people that already live here. How are you marketing to those particular people? So we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. So seasonality approaches. Just to give you an example, emphasis on first and second quarter. We talked about that to maximize sales and traffic. We already know that your first and second quarters are primarily do very well during those particular times of the year. So we want to maximize on that. And what do you have coming up in first quarter? Well, for example, in March we've got the county fair. That's right around the corner. That's something that's going to draw visitors. Okay, it may or may not draw thousands, but it's going to draw a good amount of people into your community. So here's an opportunity to showcase it. And perhaps, you know, there's that word of mouth. Perhaps there's those people that are going to go back and say, God, they put on a great county fair. And look at all the different things and activities that are going on in that community. So that's important. And of course, we've got the Bassmasters Elite Series Tournament, which is also in March. So those are almost back to back. We know that that's going to attract a huge number of people. But most importantly is the showcase and the spotlight is on your county. You know, here Zapata is being pretty much given the spotlight. And now, what are you going to do with it? It's almost like you're performing, right? And the spotlight comes and it hits you right in the face. And then people are saying, hey, we're here. Here are all these visitors. Here are all these people with wallets, right? That want to spend a lot of money. And how are you going to attract them? How are you going to make them spend a little bit more? What are you going to do? And so we'll talk about that. And then, of course, April to June, we've got the recreational visitors. You know, it's a good time of the year between April to June. And then, of course, we know that there's that third quarter, which historically hasn't done very well for us. And Peggy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of that has to do with that because of the heat. I think in terms of people just being outdoors, it's way too hot. And so people aren't going to come during those times of the year. And then, of course, October through December, we've got the winter Texans, and really that can go all the way up through February. But again, that's something that we've known for many years. We've had that market here. And what are we really doing to continue to keep those winter Texans happy and keep them spending a little bit more? Go to the next one here. Cost effectively marketing to tourists. How do we do it cost effectively? So, number one, create visitor-specific advertising. Obviously, advertising costs money, right? But we've got to have some type of investment. And when we say visitor-specific, what do we mean? Well, it's going to be a totally different approach. Whatever you do in terms of advertising to your local market has to be very different for visitors. Visitors are looking for certain things. Number one, we're looking for convenience. You know, what is convenient? What are you going to do for me if I come into your market? What's going to attract me there? So that's the type of advertising I'm looking for. Now, there's a number of different mediums. We all have small budgets. You know, we're talking to Peggy and her team. That's one of the things that she communicated to me is we want to figure out how we can market effectively, but do it cost effectively. We don't have big budgets. A lot of our business owners don't have big budgets. So what do? Well, here's where the partnerships come in. And there's specific things. For example, the chamber directory. You know, that's something that's very cost effective. Chamber puts it out on a continuous basis. For the most part, they're the voice of the business community, right, in any city or town, and it's important to network with them. Again, if you become a member of the chamber, that doesn't mean they're going to go out and advertise for you for free. Don't believe that. That's not going to happen. That's not their role. Their role is to bring you under their wing, and then you need to make sure that you take your own opportunity and be proactive and maximize on the fact that now you're a member. Now you can market yourself to all the other members within the chamber and attend events like these as part of the EDC, for example, in your collaboration with them. And network. You talked about the word of mouth. You know, let me tell you about what I do. And share ideas and cross-promote. But if there's an opportunity for you to have an ad in the chamber directory, which is probably the first piece that a visitor may or may not pick up when they come into a market, you know, chances are they're probably going to pick up the primary tourist publication that's in a particular market. And so chamber directories are good, and they're cost effective. They're not going to charge you an arm and a leg to put an ad in there. But again, if you're in the business industry and you want to attract visitors, you need to have a presence in that chamber directory. Chamber maps, they produce maps maybe once or twice a year. Again, do we have information there on how to get to my place of business? Again, remember I want convenience. We talked about the day trippers that are maybe a short period of time, and we're going to be here for so long. I don't want to have to be out looking for you. We have a client that actually is here in Zapata who happens to be behind a certain restaurant. And so nobody can find them. And so what do they say? Well, we're behind this restaurant. But if they were on a map somewhere with an ad that says, find us here, turn there, it'd be a little bit easier for people to find that particular business. Newcomers Guide, I know that's a product that's also produced here. A big opportunity for you, not only to promote to the visitors that are coming in, but the people that are living here, including Winter Texans. They want to know, even though maybe they've been here in prior years, what's new? I know there's a few new restaurants. There's a couple of new things to do, more activities. So that's an opportunity for you to promote your business. Nearby CDB publications. CDB is Convention and Visitors Bureau. And we talked about that 60-mile radius for Laredo and McAllen. There's an opportunity to promote Zapata in those markets because those are your feeder markets. Those are your larger cities that are closest to the small community. So here's an opportunity. There's people that are constantly traveling to these bigger markets for business and for recreation and to visit family. And so there's a little reminder, hey, about 45 minutes away, we have this jewel called Zapata, Texas, and look at everything we have to offer. So that's another opportunity. Coupon books are huge, and they're also a great way to track. And I definitely want to emphasize how important tracking is for all businesses, but particularly for the visitor industry. Because if you start building your own internal database of people that come and visit you on a regular basis, then you can shoot emails to them at any time, and you can do it for free. Peggy uses it a lot, and her team, they use Constant Contact. They sent you that information on how to get here to this event this morning. You can sign up for Constant Contact. It's relatively cheap, if I'm not mistaken, Peggy. And it's very easy to design your own little informational email that's going to go out and tell people about what you offer. And you can build that database. So coupon books are important because one of the things you can do is offer a bounce back offer. You get 20% off, you get $5 off lunch, $5 off dinner. Come visit us. If you're a guest from out of town, we want to see you. They bring their coupon in. The minute they do, you measure. Well, did my investment pay off? What was my return on investment? How much did it cost to put a coupon in this particular coupon book or the chamber directory or whatever it is? And then you take all their information, their vital information like their email address. And that's information that you start building as part of your database. Billboards. Now, billboards are not cheap, but billboards are an opportunity for you to share the cost with maybe other business owners. Maybe you talk to a particular restaurant and you say, hey, would you like to share the cost of a billboard over the course of 6 months, over the course of 12 months? And at the end of the day, it's still bringing people to the community, and it's promoting 1, 2, or even up to 3 businesses on one particular billboard. And then, of course, industry magazines. Obviously, Zapata, Texas is huge in terms of fishing. We talked about that. You were named the #1 best bass laid by Bassmaster Magazine. So is there an opportunity for us to have an ad in that publication? How much will it cost? Is it too expensive for me to do it on my own? Or can I partner with other members of the community to perhaps share that advertising space in this industry magazine? Why? Because we already know that people are looking at that. People that are already coming here are looking at that publication. That's already one of your visitors. That's one of your target markets that's coming here. So let's already advertise them directly. And then online presence. Obviously, this is very important. Your own website, but also partner websites. Websites like the Zapata EDC, the Chamber website, is all your information listed on there. The minute that somebody goes into a market, when they Google Zapata, what's going to pop up? Will the Chamber pop up? Most probably. Do you have a presence on that website? Does it tell people how to get to your business? A lot of those things you can do absolutely free. A lot of chambers offer it for free if you're a member. And membership is relatively cost effective. And then, of course, social media. That's huge. If you're not on social media and you want to attract visitors, remember we talked about a really young demographic? You have a very young median age, 28. And those are the people who are living here, but even within your 60-mile radius, you're attracting people that are young. And so these people are up and on. They're up with technology. They're on Facebook. They're on Twitter. So it's important that you have that social media presence. And again, these are things you can do absolutely free. And if you need help with that, there's partners out there that can assist you. There's people at the Chamber that can help you. There's Peggy's office that can help you to put all those tools together for you to be able to market yourself effectively. So let's go on to our next slide. stuff here. Okay. So attracting and keeping tourist visitors. Well, one of the things you can do is create a scenic or very convenient location. You know, it's all about convenience. Again, as a tourist, think about when you travel to another city or to another market. The number one thing you're looking for is convenience. What's going to be more convenient for me during my travels, if I'm there on business, if I'm there with my family, if I'm there with my wife or my husband? What is the most convenient thing that is going to be offered to me? And so think about creating a scenic or very convenient location. Where are you located? And talk about that in your very specific advertising. You know, we're located right by the lake. We're located on the lake, just 2 blocks down the road from so-and-so. You know, a lot of times when you advertise and you use an address, you know, when was the last time that you're driving down the road and you hear a commercial on the radio and you hear the phone number or an address and you actually write it down? How many of you have done that? Nobody does. But I guarantee you that every business owner wants their phone number or their address of the radio commercials. Doesn't make any sense. Nobody cares. But when you say 2 blocks down from the Burger King, make a left, across the street from so-and-so, they'll find you. You know, it's theater of the mind. Same thing on a print publication. You know, for institutional purposes, you can put your address. But at the end of the day, people want landmarks. They want something that's convenient. What is it that you're offering? An attractive environment, a place to rest and browse while they shop or dine. That's what people are looking for. So are our restaurants in the area offering that? Is there a place to relax or shop? Let's say that we have spouses that come with people who are going to be here for the tournament in a couple of weeks. And that's really just right around the corner. And these people don't like to fish. Where are we going to put these people? Are they going to be miserable and just hang out by the lake and complain and say, I never want to come back to this town again because there's nothing to do? Or are we going to take that opportunity to say, you know what? Why don't we create an area within my business? Maybe I offer complimentary margaritas for the afternoon. Maybe I go out and hand out flyers at the lake and say, hey, if you're not into fishing, come over. We've got complimentary appetizers and margaritas from 4 to 6 while everybody else is doing the fishing. And we're going to have door prizes. You know, a great opportunity to promote restaurants, businesses, things of that nature. Entertainment venues and restaurants. Eateries are huge, particularly in small markets. You know, how many, we talk about green, okay? For example, how many times do we say, well, we're going to this particular city because we want to eat at such and such place? You know, people have capitalized on that. Restaurants have positioned themselves as saying, we offer the best this, or the best that, or the biggest burger, or whatever it is. You know, you talk about the fact that we have the best bass fishing. That's great. But what else can we offer? And there's an opportunity for you to offer a number of different things. Maybe you have the best breakfast taco in South Texas. And you capitalize on that and you market on that. So creating some type of a venue for that, creating live entertainment, or any type of entertainment that you can do. It doesn't have to be musical entertainment. You know, you talk about your art. You know, perhaps there is some kind of an exhibit somewhere. You have all these people coming into town. Where can you exhibit some of your art and have people come and see it for free? And obviously it's marketing yourself. Family attractions and recreational facilities, obviously, anything for families. You know, are we seeing that a lot of these fishermen are bringing their families? If they're not, that's probably because there's nothing for their families to do. So let's think about some opportunities there. What can different businesses do to capitalize on the fact that, you know, perhaps you're going to bring some children. What can we do for children? Children's activities. Any type of events for children. Visitor-specific promotions. We talked about promotions. And I'm going to mention a few, and then I'm going to open it up and have you ask questions as we go along. Throughout the years, I've developed, implemented, participated in a number of different tourism-related marketing promotions that have been very effective, and I'd like to share that with you. But very simple, show your key and win. You've got a very good amount of hotels and motels in the area. And this is probably one of the easiest promotions to do, and a great way to partner with the hospitality industry. Very, very simple, very easy. Talk to the general manager of the hotel and say, hey, I want to help you if you'll help me. Cross-market. And all you do is you develop a nice sign and you put it up at your store or at your restaurant, and you say, hey, show your key and save, or show your key and win. And all they have to do is show you their hotel key. And they get a discount, or they get a free gift, or they get a coupon. You know, whatever it is, very easy, convenient, simple promotion, and it costs you this much. You don't have to pay to advertise that, just the cost of your sign. And of course, letting the people at your facility know, letting your teams know, your staff, that you have this promotion going on so they can encourage people to show their keys. Gifts for your guests. This is a program that is, again, very easy to implement. It's something that's more for your local market. You know, a lot of people have family that visit, you know, from out of town. Now, it doesn't only have to be for families, but families have guests that visit. A lot of times they don't stay at the hotels, so they won't have a key to show you. So you can say, you know what, we have gifts for your guests because they came to our community. And all they need to do is show you their driver's license, show you their ID. And if they're from 50 miles away or further, then you give them a free gift. And it doesn't have to be a gift. It can be a discount. It can be savings. It can be a coupon. But you develop gifts for your guests. And again, you capitalize on the fact that you're doing this. And you don't only have to do it for the people that live here and their guests, but you can do it for all the guests that you have here, that you're going to have here in a few weeks as part of your big Bassmasters Elite Tournament. And then, of course, partnerships and cross-marketing opportunities. I can't tell you how well this works if you do it right. When people work together in collaboration to accomplish one consistent goal, people are very successful. And that's what we've seen a lot of small markets do. And what does that mean? It means attending events like this. So you're already on the road there. It means partnering with your hotels, partnering with your chambers, with your convention and visitors bureaus, with your EDCs, but most importantly, partnering with your peers, partnering with other restaurants, other businesses. Can I put my coupons at your store? Can I put them at your restaurant? Can I put up a flyer about my artwork at this particular convenience store or at this gas station where I know all these people will be gassing up? Do I want to do perhaps door hangers at particular RV parks for some of my winter Texans? You know, yeah, it's going to cost me a little bit to print the door hanger, but it's an opportunity for me to target that winter Texan. Maybe I have a product specifically for them or a service specifically for them. So think about partnerships and cross-marketing opportunities. And in terms of industry partnerships, you know, again, your chamber, CVB, EDC, hotels and motels, bed and breakfasts, RV parks, these are all people that you can cross-market with and do a number of different, very cost-effective promotions that at some point may even cost you zero. Convenience stores, gas stations, and restaurants, and these three are important because this is something that is typically visited by a traveler, any traveler. All the different ones that we mentioned. And of course, your cross-marketing opportunities. And finally, 12 tips on attracting and servicing tourist visitors. And by the way, if you need a copy of this presentation, I'd be more than happy to email it to Peggy, and then she can send it out to everyone. But these are very simple tips and things that you guys can utilize on a regular basis. Number one, know your consumer. Know who you're marketing to. And that's one of the reasons at the beginning of the presentation, I talked about all the different types of visitors you're going to have. If you know that your type of business or service is not for the business traveler, then don't market to them. If you know that your type of business or service is not for the winter Texan, don't market to them. You can't be everything to everyone. People have tried and they failed. And so at the end of the day, it's important to look at one target demo. Who is that demo going to be? Who is your demographic? Know who they are. That way you can consistently target them, market to them, and cater to them. Number two, develop a strong strategic message. What's your messaging? You know, so many times, again, we talk about ads and phone numbers and advertising, but what's the message? You know, what am I doing that's out of the ordinary? What's my product store? What's my market, Texas? One of the things I didn't mention, and I think it was in one of the earlier slides, but we talked about you guys kind of going above and beyond, being out of the ordinary and doing something that, you know, is out of the box, per se. And there's a book by Seth Godin called Purple Cow. Has anybody read Purple Cow? Peggy, you read Purple Cow? And it's a big marketing book. In our industry, we talk about it all the time. And what Purple Cow is about, it's about people in business that are doing something out of the ordinary. But once they figure out what that out of the ordinary is going to be, like Market Texas did, they do a remarkable job of promoting it. They simply are remarkable at everything that they do. The way they promote it, the way that they service the people that come and visit them. And so that's one thing to think about is develop a strong message and be remarkable at it, whatever that message is going to be. If you, by all means, have the best anything in town, be remarkable at the way that you promote it. Implement consistent visitor-specific advertising. Again, consistency is important. It needs to be done on a consistent basis, not here, not there. Develop a plan, a long-term plan for 6 months, for 12 months, and say, okay, these are the important specific dates of the year. The way we talk about Walmart, doing things during certain seasons, very consistent with their messaging, right? There's going to be different messages, but there needs to be a consistent plan for this visitor-specific advertising. Provide incentives and value-oriented offers and coupons. That's huge. For a couple of reasons. Number one, because as a visitor, I feel special. It's probably going to drive me to your location even more often. But secondly, it's very valuable information that you can garner from these visitors. Their email, their demographics, their age. You can do a little survey. Ask them, what brought you here? How did you hear about it? Why did you choose Zapata? Where did you hear about Zapata? Where did you hear about my store, my restaurant? So that's important. Provide effective signage. I can't tell you how important that is. As I drove in this morning, I saw a couple of signs, and I think Michelle, you mentioned one for the school district. Those are things that we see. When you're driving into a small market, we're not going to see tall buildings. But we want to know where we are, where are we headed, what's around, what do I do? Effective signage is important. Many times we have business owners that spend little or no money on signage, when that is the most important thing in your business. And it's funny, we'll talk to small business owners, and they'll say, well, I just ran out of money. I have all this money and all this equipment. Well, yeah, but nobody knows you're there. So signage is so important. Invest in effective signage. Maintain adequate staffing during busy periods. Again, the seasonality. You're going to be busy during certain times of the year. We know it's challenging to find effective key people for your businesses, but it's so important that you have adequate staff. You don't want people waiting in long lines. You don't want people having to wait for a table. You don't want people waiting to have to pump gas. Get them in and out as quick as possible, because what does that mean? That means generating more cash at the end of the day, more to your bottom line. Ensure that you have bilingual team members. We're in a bicultural community. A lot of people speak Spanish. A lot of people will only speak English when they come to your Masters Elite tournament. So what happens to all those employees at all these little convenience stores that only speak Spanish? It's probably going to frustrate some visitors, right? For the most part, it's fun, and they know they're going into a bicultural community. But they're here to do their business. They're here to fish. Again, we go back to convenience. In and out. How quickly can we get them in and out? So make sure that you have bilingual staff members. Ensure that you are well stocked. Merchandise selection. How important is this? You have all these people coming in. Your population is going to swell for a few weeks. But you're out of this and you're out of that. Well stocked is important. And so many times I hear small business owners complain, and they'll say, oh, we have a lot of people, but, we ran low on this. And then you'll say, well, you should have been well stocked. Well, yeah, but then, I spend the money, and then what if they don't come? Well, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Important to be well stocked. Provide information on nearby restaurants, hotels, and entertainment. If somebody walks into a convenience store, place of business, wherever it is, and they ask you, where is the best place to eat? Know that information. Recommend places. Here's where the cross-marketing comes in. You may have certain restaurants that you're promoting. Perhaps those restaurants are also promoting your place of business, right? So make sure that you know that information. Offer an area for rest and relaxation. Again, we talked about the fact that people are here for certain things, recreational purposes. What about the people that are coming with them? Is there an area for them to kind of hang out and relax? Offer an area for them. Be proactive. Partner, participate, and play. What does that mean? You being here this morning is already showing proactiveness. Don't react. Don't react when the visitors are already here. Oh my gosh, what do I do? I ran out of this, I ran out of that, I don't have enough staff. Be proactive. Participate in programs that the chamber sponsors, that the EDC sponsors, that perhaps nearby CVBs are sponsoring. And then at the end of the day, play ball. Be part of that team and work together, because at the end of the day, everyone will benefit. And finally, smile and be patient. Patience is really key in small markets that attract visitors, because people are not necessarily used to having population swell, and they're not used to roads being a little bit busier than they typically are. Not to mention the fact that locals may not like some of the tourists. Even though it's driving business to their community, they're either going to leave town or stay home and not come out. So what can you do to capitalize on those locals? What can restaurants do? Simple thing, offer free home delivery. None of these locals want to go out and eat at the restaurants. Why? Because there's no tables, it's full of tourists. So what do? Maximize on that opportunity and offer free home delivery. That's an idea. That's my presentation, and I'll open it up for any questions. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to emphasize, you may be asking, what is the role of economic development in marketing? And the reason that's so important is that we're actually probably, like other business organizations, a great partner for you, because our role in economic development and marketing is to go outside of the community and attract attention here by showing the unique features, by showing it as a great location to do business. That's what you're talking about, is to drive people here, or when they are here and they're coming already for fishing or hunting or a unique, special event such as a fair or something, is to take that and while they're here, be able to just, open the curtains and shine the light on all the unique things we have here. And for example, website. If you don't have a website, and you know that, we just finished a study that we're going to be presenting at the next Power Breakfast, and we analyzed the community. It's a market analysis, and it's a very in-depth assessment. But what we know is that most of our businesses do not have a web presence. And so how is someone going to find you? And especially because advertising and certain things can be very expensive. If you don't have that in your budget, how are they going to find you? Well, one thing that organizations such as ours and the Chamber can do is to drive them to our site, and from there we can either help identify you, which one of the things that we did is we now have a comprehensive business list and a map, and you can actually I encourage you to go to the website and look at it, look for your business. You can find it right exactly where it is. Google Maps and some of those maps are a little off places. Well, we've corrected all those using your GPS location. So if your business is exactly where it is, people can see it on the map, and then you can just click on it, and it'll show what you do and your phone number and where your address is. So those are really important things that really don't cost you anything. So it's a service that we provide. The other thing economic development can do is coordinate the infrastructure that's needed. Like Baby was talking about, if you're going to have visitors here, what do they do? Where do they go? We raise money for parks or this college or other types of things like that help build infrastructure. Of course, it's a partnership with all the other entities and the local government. But that's an important area where economic development is important, whether it's for just purely entertainment. And our main thing would be to help businesses with their perhaps finding funding to help redo the facade or to add another section or something like that. So those are places that we can do it. The other thing would be community research. A lot of the information that we use is from our economic analysis of the county, and what the market analysis that we just did is we can tell you, we can do custom reports, we can tell you if in your area, if you do business, what products people buy. We have a $95 million a year sales leakage. It means people in Zapata are spending, aren't consuming, $95 million a year outside of here. You can get, that business, a lot of it can stay here. So what are they buying? What products and services are they looking for? What do you need to focus on? What new businesses can be started or expanded? So that's another area of economic development is one of the services that we provide, and why it's so important in the whole community marketing. Because our goal is to market the community, to, as Dave said, to highlight and showcase the unique features, and work specifically with individual businesses, organizations, nonprofits, so that we all work together. But it has to be a partnership, and and that's really what we hope to accomplish here, is to just be sharing this information and, use it, take advantage of it, and we need to, start coming together to talk about these things and go from there. So I really thank you all for